I got dust immediately in my eye from something. That is so good. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Story Bazaar. I got it this time.
True, it is still wonderful. It's the name of the podcast.
Yeah. Well, say hi, Tyler, Matt, and Jeremy.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
They're all here. I'm here. We're back for round 2, maybe 3 of this game because we really like it, and I'm going to give y'all a quick recap. Just super quick. So quick you've never even seen how quick it was. Surface people move to the never-ending darkness, right? They find out the Booglin are there. They have a little scuffle because there's a little exchange of things because they're making things bad because they're bringing down new plants. They're bringing down garbage. Who's bringing down the new plants? You might be asking. It's Patrick Stump and his spooky farm that's underneath the glass dome where all this shit kind of started out. There's a crazy forest. And the forest is no longer being available for people because they've been cutting things down and they've been being a little bad. A spooky big thing that no one really knows about came and looked at them when they were moving in, and everyone's a little scared that that's going to come to fruition. Don't know what that's about yet. There's a stink hole that was kind of like towards the very end of things. That's kind of making the Booglin really pissed, and so they won't let anyone go down except, oops, there was a mass exodus, and a lot of the population went to the lower levels. Yes, that's right, lower levels of the never-ending darkness, and now they don't know what the heck happened to them. Are they dead? Are they down there kicking it with meat monsters? No one knows. And so we're here now to continue that story. If anyone thinks I missed anything, go ahead and listen to the other episode. Please, God. It's been a long time. My brain cannot retain.
You hit the gist of everything, I think. We just finished our second cycle, so we're headed into cycle number 3.
Yes, we're heading into cycle number 3 once we get that 10. Also, it's been about 6 years' time since all this stuff has happened. There's some other little things in there, but you're going to have to listen to find out now, won't you?
It is Matt's time.
I'm going to draw my card, and then I activate the card.
That is too detailed. That is way
and I get the 5 of diamonds.
Got a 5. I am moving my cursor across my screen.
So we got our second 5.
That's the second 5?
Yes. Second question. What secrets are kept in our place? Why are they kept? By whom and from whom?
That's interesting.
Man, this is a tough question.
Also, just for like a refresher on rules, he doesn't have to go with this question if he doesn't want to.
Yes.
There's a couple other questions here.
There are a couple other questions.
Yeah, he can choose to abandon the question.
Yeah, he can choose to abandon this question
extra,
and
like,
go for some other question.
But that's a pretty good question.
That's a pretty good question.
You can
like
create
secret.
some deep lore conspiracy in our world.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see. So I was just thinking, like, secrets. I want to believe secrets always branch off from rumors always branch off from secrets.
Webster's dictionary defines
Okay, we also I apologize, and it's been a while since we've done it. I also don't need a soliloquy from you. I need what is secret and who is keeping it.
It actually comes from the Latin dictionorum.
There are secrets that are held. I want to say some of the upper echelon from the above ground civilization.
Okay.
They know exactly what they were trying to do with that failed experiment. And let's just say maybe there were some other reasons that they were using these experiments, like something that wasn't public knowledge to us. In the sense of, like, from what we understand, like, this weapon was basically being used for like mass, like a weapon, essentially. I'd like to believe that there was another secondary reason for them having these experiments.
Just to clarify your idea, did the weapon have a secondary purpose, and that's what's hidden, or is it that the experiments...
Is the secondary purpose that it's a weapon?
Maybe that's the thing that we don't know, and that can be left up to Kyle to elaborate on.
Yeah.
But rather...
That would be something, because it's a little more, like, close to, like the actual structure of the world. I definitely will leave that up to Kyle, but I want to say that the weapon was, like, kind of what they were presenting it as, but I want to say that there was a secondary, like, kind of more devious reason for this weapon to
Right.
to be used.
Okay, so it was like it wasn't like the experiments had two purposes that made the weapon. The weapon itself had multiple purposes.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I
Yes.
understood
Yes.
what. And some of the higher up people, including, just so I understand, because there's not many humans, including like the nobility from other kingdoms, it sounds like.
I
have
would say
access
there's
to.
very few people who survived because a lot of the people that
Got
that would have been in
yes.
development for this would have been directly around it.
Yeah.
But maybe
there are
there's like
people still around
there-
who know.
exactly,
Okay.
you know, they were in the room when it happens. You know, not to quote Hamilton, but
I got some ideas.
Okay.
I got some.
I
I
like
like,
it.
that
Well, you get
a
to go
lot.
next
You kind
with
of
your
put me.
ideas.
I'll be honest, Matt. You got me on my toes with that one, but I think I can. I
like
think
it.
I can match that secret for secret. I got something cooking.
All
All
right.
right,
Got
Kyle,
some
give us some more. Give us some more of that
All right, give
beautiful
me the
bean
beat boy,
footage.
and I'll free my soul. It's a 6 of spades.
this is our second 6.
Ooh.
Someone returns to our place, changed. Who are they, and how are they different?
Ooh,
Can't make this stuff up. You would get this question.
That is, I think I know exactly what happens.
Okay.
I think I know exactly.
okay.
About, I'd say, 10 to 15 people seemingly in the distance of the blockade that the Booglin are keeping to kind of keep people from going to the lower levels now because of all the chaos and bad things that have been happening since the surface people have got here. Well, some of those surface people are back, and they're
Wait,
not alone.
Back from the lower
From
levels?
the
Yeah.
from the lower levels, yes,
Okay.
Ooh,
yes.
okay.
It's about now as they're getting closer, about 15 of them. And when I say they're not alone, it's not that they're accompanied by other people. They are quite literally riding never before seen creatures, presumably from those lower levels.
Oh God.
What are they?
They are these sort of like 6-legged, sort of gecko-like mole sort of creatures. They seem to glide on the dirt. They don't look like they're necessarily walking per se. They're just kind of moving their feet in a circular pattern and sort of moving across the earth in a very, very quick way.
I love that.
And these guys are sort of kind of strapped on top of them, like kind of like riding like a belly down 4-wheeler or like a motorbike or something like that, you know, like one of those cool ones where you like lay down, you know, and they're just like in tandem with these guys, and they kind of just like pull up to the gate and they drop off a package and they just leave.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
But the package is clearly wrapped in ornately hand carved leathers.
Oh wow.
Like leathers from stuff they've not seen on this surface, like big sheets of like this similar sort of patterned leather. It's not like the same pattern as these sort of gecko mole like creature things. It's something else.
Obviously, since they rode up and they kind of left, were there any like noticeable differences? Like, do they look different?
To the Booglin who saw them, they see them and it's like they look similar. They look a little bit more like more feral in a way, like not so much like they've lost like any sort of like idea of like society or anything like that, but they look more like primal, like more like a lot more muscular, a lot more sort of like
more like rough and tough.
They look, and their eyes they have this sort of like leather sort of like goggle setup thing that clearly looks like some other creature's maybe lenses over their eyes.
Got it. And
And
then
you can't see any facial features beyond these cool goggle-like masks that kind of
Awesome.
trail off into a body kind of cape thing.
oh, that's very cool.
I mean, I can't help but picture Azula's
Oh God.
lizards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, think
I
of
wasn't even
that, but
thinking
like
that.
on the bottom of its feet, instead of like gecko-y pads, like the little like sort of fingerprinty things, it's like they're almost like individual little like spinning, scaly blade kind of like
Okay.
dealies. Like it's like they just push off the ground, so to say.
Cool.
Got it.
The final 3. I wonder what the question's going to be then. A bad decision leaves marks on the land. What was this decision, and what trace does it leave?
Oh no.
Okay, I had this idea earlier, and this question I think is perfect for it. The citizens of Remembrance, after they were cut off from the Booglins, they kind of, obviously we've said things were going in kind of a bad way. I think they started to experience a lot of trouble being cut off from the forest. And I think that they eventually got to the point where they decided that they needed to break through the sort of barricades that the Booglin had set up, and that caused much more heightened tension between the Booglin and the citizens of Remembrance. I'm not like trying to say like a war starts or anything like that, but
No, but like
tensions are high, and the citizens are like, "Fuck it, we gotta do something," and the Booglins are like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. So where did they bust through, and how are they? Because last we left off, the Booglins literally had like their citizens like guarding it and using non-lethal magic to like stop people from approaching the blockades. So
I don't think they were doing that for the forest. I think that they had created like artificial blockades with like, didn't Kyle say that like with webs and stuff they had created blockades? Not that.
Yeah, they used webs to block off not just the forest, but like different areas to keep people sort of wrangled in their area that they've sort of not let them keep, but like it's like, hey, we don't care that you're sharing this space. Stay to your space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My understanding was they like got quarantined off. Okay.
Well, I think that the citizens just found an opportunity and decided we've got to get in there, whether they were running low on supplies or maybe they were having trouble finding good forageable food sources, different things like that.
And would you say this is some of the people, or like was this like a higher up decision, or
so
did people
the population of the population of the civilization has dwindled after that mass exodus? I think that the higher ups were like, we've got to do something to make sure that what people we still have can live and exist. So I think that it was a like government decision, not a government, I know, but like. And
then what tunnel did they open up? Was it just a tunnel to the lower floor? Was it specifically like the tunnel they were using to go to the forest originally?
I think probably not their original entrance, because I think that they knew that they were doing something they shouldn't be, and that they figured that the Booglin would have better barricaded the regular entrance. You know what I mean? Like, I think that they probably would have been sneaky about it, which almost makes it worse.
Yeah. So how did it scar like what specifically did they do to like blast this open? I'm guessing in a way to where like the Booglin couldn't seal it back up again.
I guess I kind of interpreted marks as like a metaphysical mark.
Okay.
In that like it's further it's like pouring salt into the wound that is the relationship between the Booglin and the civilization. It's just like they're pulling open an open wound.
And this might be going a little beyond. Is it fair to assume that like they now have people guarding that passage so the Booglins can't seal it again?
I think probably, but I kind of want to. I don't think this question really encapsulates repercussions of what happened, rather than just like this happened.
I drew a 2.
It is our second 2.
Ooh, all right. What is produced in our place right now, and how does it make its way into the wider world? Is this export a physical good, knowledge, something else?
Interesting.
There's a lot of different ways you can go with this.
Okay, so I was thinking about this. So I think the people who stayed in Remembrance, basically since they've been down here, there's been nothing but hardships, and a lot of those hardships have actually been self-induced. And the whole time, the only reason any of them are alive is because of this one prosperous garden they have below this like radiant dome of transparent material, and like there's no good explanation as to why the explosion caused this area to become this transparent but the other areas not to. And so what ends up happening is it's kind of unclear where it necessarily started, but I actually think that the people of remembrance, the thing they produce is a religion.
Oh.
They don't think the light is a god or anything, but just how the garden was nicknamed the Garden of the Goddess, I think they start worshiping the goddess of redemption. Because they see this mercy that they've been given. While it's hard, most of the hardships have come from within. So the thing that's produced is just this worship of this goddess that they believe exists, who is the reason they still exist. And they think she has been showing mercy to them so that they can redeem themselves for destroying the surface. Because even though they weren't directly responsible, it was the wars and conflicts between the countries that caused this to culminate. And so I think the thing they produced is this belief in this goddess of redemption and everything that comes with that. And the thing they're exporting is they're trying to spread their beliefs specifically to the other surface dwellers that went down, because they just think it's important that all the surface dwellers should have this mindset of redemption, and maybe even possibly to the Booglin, but more as like a we're working on it kind of thing rather than a here, because they're not the ones who need redemption.
Like maybe these religious figures are like, hey, we know things are crazy and people are kind of doing too much, but we're trying over here.
Like diplomats.
And it's not all of us. We're trying to get them to come to this sort of redemption arc.
Yeah, and I actually think that the incident with the busting the thing open that rose those tensions, I think that was kind of the catalyst for the religion, because basically people saw it like, oh, we're repeating our same mistakes again. And that's kind of what led to that power sway.
The 9 of diamonds. That is our second 9. Someone or a group leaves our place. Who are they? And why are they going? What do they take with them? And what do they leave behind? Okay, so we're gonna skip that question. I'm gonna use the action leave the frame. So leave the frame just for a second. The window widens and we can expand a little bit farther out. So I want to expand on the forest a little bit. So since we kind of have opened up a pathway between Remembrance and the Underwood a little bit, I kind of want to just kind of touch on what people see when they go to the Underwood. Just kind of on the outskirts, like when you first go in, it's just like a normal like wood a little bit. But the further you explore in, it almost feels like you're in a constant state of being watched. But you can never see what's watching you. And no one has ever been able to see like any sort of like creatures when they go down there. Like it almost seems like it's kind of just the woods there, like not a whole lot of creatures, like maybe just like, basic like bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like small creatures.
Yeah. But it feels like there's eyes all over you whenever you go in. Like if you start to get like real deep in. So that's just an observation that people have seen when they start exploring deeper into the Underwood.
Okay.
Awesome.
Here I go. It's another. Oh, I'm all 6s today. That's the third 6. Something small but noticeable is destroyed. What is it? Or who or what destroyed it?
Oh, shit, Kyle.
I know.
Are you going to do it?
You know exactly where I'm going with this if you've been following along.
Oh, my heart.
We're gonna take a little trip back to a character that was introduced a little earlier in the series. A little character named Boogie. Y'all remember Boogie?
I do remember Boogie.
I remember Boogie.
Such a young little boy.
I'm going to write down what I know you're about to write.
You will know exactly where we're going with this, my friend. In the heat and tenuousness of the surface dwellers continuing to disrespect the underground, to disrespect tradition as the ones who put them in this very spot. Oh, how hubris comes back to haunt us all, does it not? Boogie is livid that they would even think to break through into the forest, to be so selfish, so cruel, and so in kind, An eye for an eye, Boogie says. In the dead of night, Boogie sneaks in to this town square of remembrance. And there, in all its glory, in polished, gleaming esteem, the very statue of remembrance itself, Boogie absconds with the crystal between the two pillars and is never seen again.
Well, don't say never, because
until the next
But not
car.
never. But he. I'll say this much: he's no longer on the upper two levels,
Yeah.
and he and the crystal are gone.
Yeah. As soon as I read that, I was like, well,
Yeah.
there's only one option.
There's a lot of threads here, buddy boys. There's so many places you could go with this. It just like I'm feeling the heart of the cards. I understand Yugi now.
All right, to me,
Yes.
10.
Oh,
End of a
10.
cycle.
Oh,
It's our third 10.
loving it.
So it feels like, reading all these questions, it feels like there's only one good option.
Okay.
It is a resting day. In anticipation of problems just across the horizon, what is believed to be coming, and how do the inhabitants of our place set those problems aside for just one day? Tensions are high. And the tensions have never been higher. One of the Booglin has straight up stolen our beloved... It's not an artifact,
Remember
but
gem.
it is
The
our...
remember gem.
It is our piece of our history and one of the last pieces of our civilization back home. I'm not going to say that it's about to come to a head, but it feels like it. It feels like we are at a tipping point and we just need one more day to relax. How do we set these problems aside for just one day? I think that the town, like, everyone gets lit.
Yay.
Like, I think, like, the whole town has a day of mourning the loss of this gym, and then a day of just, like, smoking the finest dank they've got, eating some magic mushrooms.
Oh,
I think
love
it
that.
comes
Yep.
out of response to mourning.
Yeah.
So what
And-
are the names of these kind of one or two new holidays, depending on how you count it?
So, everyone in town, to try to ease their minds before things potentially pop off, not saying they will or won't, everyone in town is getting high on scrooms and Smead.
Scrooms and Smead. I gotta write this
love it.
down.
This day is remembered as Remembering Remembrance.
That's good. That's good.
And so it's a 2-day holiday though, right? So like,
yeah.
Are both days called Remembering Remembrance?
Yeah, so it's like Hanukkah, how it's 7 days.
Got
Remembering Remembrance is a multi-day event.
it. Okay. I'm about it. So it might even like expand over time.
The first day is the morning, and then the second day is the fucking partying, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm about it.
It's been 2
2
years.
So 8 years have passed total. 2 years since the thing was stolen and that package was dropped off to the
Yeah.
Booglins.
Okay, question number 1. Do our characters / civilization still live here? If not, who lives here now? Does anyone?
I was going to say, I don't think there would be any change. I feel like it's possible that some of the people who left, between the passage getting back open and kind of, it seems like the philosophy of remembrance shifting, I think it's possible that some of the people that left actually are coming back.
Do you think that they would, not to like, I don't know, I don't want to like pass my own ball to myself, you know?
Yeah.
But like, the intent of the package that was given was not, it didn't seem like a threat. It didn't seem like a thing. Maybe some sort of trade has been established since then between the two groups.
I can see that.
Maybe like they're coming back, but they're
Booglins
not.
and
I kind of don't think we should have
No, I think
those
that's
people
still
come
up
back
there.
yet in this question.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like people are starting to lose faith in remembrance as a civilization, not like, like I think that more and more people, I think as tensions are getting higher, I feel like people are running away. I think people are getting out of Dodge. I don't think they have anywhere good to go.
I think some of those redemption people as well are probably like just campaigning all over town. Like,
Oh no, they
I
definitely
know I know this seems like the darkest before dawn, but think about that. Like, there's still like not so much chasing people, but they're like slight like passive aggressive missionary style. Like, hey, you could stay here and help because that would be helpful.
Through thick and thin, the light has never left us, so we should not abandon the light.
I kind of like that. So some people are fleeing, but the church is trying to convince people to stay. And I kind of like this as an opportunity for the church to take a bigger hold on this city.
So I think remembrance is now a theology, because the people who are now because they've been trying to missionary. So I think the people that are coming in are people who are with it, who are like on board with the goddess of redemption.
And the people who aren't are probably either fleeing to the lower levels or they're going to that farm community if they can afford it.
Yeah. So
because remember, there is a community that has popped up around the farm that has nothing to do with the church.
Did you say theology or theocracy?
Theocracy.
Okay.
But hold on, the farm is a part of remembrance, and also I feel like the church would immediately take that over.
I feel like Patrick Stump had his own thing going. And people were moving up there because they were like trying to get in on the ground floor of him starting the farm. Because when we met Patrick Stump, like I want to say 3 years before right now, he was just getting the gardening started.
Right.
He had just started growing his first ears of corn. He hadn't quite set up stuff. And so I think people during that mass exodus didn't all leave down. I think some of them moved to that community to help with that effort as well. And it's kind of its own, not closed off community, but it's like a cul-de-sac-y kind of vibe. You kind of have to know somebody to get in to live there.
It sounds like you're saying there's now two different communities within remembrance.
Yes, that's
okay.
From my understanding,
I think that's how it was.
Well, we just said like the people who had the farm had more power because
I didn't think of them as separate parts, but rather just that's where the rich people lived. Or
if we say this, that is inherently, I mean, you're taking the thing that the religion started based off of away from the religion.
But no, and that's the thing. They're not trading with the rest of the community. They're not saying this is our farm, you can't have any. But that community is more well off because it's going to them first, then outward, right? Like they're not giving it to the rest of the town.
In my head, I don't see how the people who are worshiping the light and by extension the farm area, I don't see how they wouldn't.
That's why I think it would make sense, right? They are the everyman kind of reaching out to the people who aren't a part of the farm. They don't give a fuck about necessarily Patrick Stump's like ownership of anything. They're like, sure, do this for the community. You're going to give us, the church, this stuff so we can help the community, right?
So they're like the popes and the Kenneth Copelands who talk to the people for God.
Yeah, essentially, like they, but not in a negative way. They're kind of like strong arming them without strong arming them, or guilt tripping them in a way like, yo, you better be also giving some of this food up. I know you're starting your community, but this is also for everyone, right? Yeah. Like they're the people making sure that everyone is being included, regardless of the community forming.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Yeah. So, what does this place physically look like now? Has anything visually changed? How does it smell now? How does it feel here? I think. And, say what you guys will, I think it looks and smells better as we've regained access to, like, the forest and stuff. But I think it feels just as bad. I think everyone knows that things are bad, hence remembering Remembrance Day. But I think it looks and smells better because it was real bad for a little while there.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the stink hole is still stinking?
Or I think it's a situation where we stopped using the stink hole. And so, one, there's been airflow now, and two, we stopped using the stink hole. So,
but there's still stink in the stink hole. Like it didn't go away.
But we don't know what's at the bottom of the hole. So, like,
okay.
The stink
over
has
time of stopping
less.
using it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The stink has reduced, though maybe it's not just through natural.
It's like someone plugged in a glade.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there might just be a lot of good processed mulch or some shit. Does this place still use the same name? If not, what is it called now? And who calls it that?
So I feel like we could, at this point, now that it's becoming a theocracy, I could see the name potentially changing.
What would you think the name would be then?
Would we want to change it from Remembrance to Redemption?
Maybe Light of Redemption? Or maybe it's called Redemption, and now, like, the light source itself has the name Light of Redemption, because I don't think it had a name before.
Yeah.
So the area that the church is formed around is called the Light of Redemption?
No. The light itself is called the Light of Redemption. The
Okay.
town has been renamed Redemption because, Remembrance, the town was named after that monument, and that monument got stolen. And so because of all this, like, people need something to believe
They're
in.
trying to rebrand.
Basically, yeah.
Honestly,
Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a strategic move by the church itself. Not that like the church is evil, but like it's
Yeah.
trying to spread a positive message, and having
Yeah.
this name that did all these atrocities to the Boglins, and like basically like next foot forward, rename this
Yeah.
town.
Sweet.
I like that.
Cycle number 4. Jeremy, take us home. Oh,
No, it's an 8.
8.
This is our first 8. This is the only number we
Wow.
haven't seen yet.
What does success look like in our place? What do the inhabitants want?
This is such a weird question to get this late.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
because things are looking so bad for the town.
Yeah. Maybe we're getting a
Do they
redemption
get a
arc.
win now? Do they get a
Maybe.
win?
So
getting a redemption
I
arc.
actually like this because I'm going to take this to kind of flesh out the Church of Redemption. We might come up with a better name. I think what's going on is because the population has decreased so much, and because like the kind of like the wealthy and the people who like weren't on board with like kind of having responsibility and feeling that need to like redeem themselves kind of left. I don't think that survival is necessarily an issue again anymore, especially because they have access to the force and everything. So I think like as far as food and stuff is concerned, that's no longer what success looks like anymore. For the followers of Redemption, which is basically the whole town, people are trying to basically undo the damages they caused in their own personal life. And then if they're able to, like, undo larger damages. Like, I think it's possible that there might be like a division of the inhabitants now who are like actually going to try to clean the stink hole. And there might even be people who are actively trying to build up better relations with the Boglins. I think success now for Redemption as a town is basically trying to repair what is broken.
I like that. Also, it's Booglin.
They need a better PR.
A
They need
Booglin,
better PR.
yes. Basically, yeah, like,
Yeah.
and I think that's actually the primary, like, I think that's maybe not the primary, but one of the biggest beliefs of this redemption is like, we have a responsibility to fix these things. Not because we were the ones that did it.
I like that a lot, especially because of how bleak everything was starting to feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
This
that's
is the
kind
Zuko
of,
redemption arc.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Well-
basically, this whole town is trying to redeem both itself and by extension, surface dwellers as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I got a 4, which that is our second 4. The bar opens their doors to all. What is the bar and who is a regular there? There's a 2 question.
interesting.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Or the church changes a core mandate. What is the church, and what about their worldview has shifted?
That is so
Oh.
perfect that it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
Well, so we don't have to answer what is the church, obviously.
yeah.
but-
Obviously. Yeah.
Well, if you want
Okay.
The
to
bar is the bar from Cheers.
The bar
Oh,
could be a
man.
rival
I feel-
church.
Let me see.
Debauchery and trash. That is our way. We are the bar.
I don't want to answer that question because I feel like we're kind of answering that a little bit. Like
Yeah.
the whole idea of the church is new, and
No, that's fair.
they wouldn't change. I think they're like,
Yeah.
they're
that's
not
fair.
going to try to like make any
Yeah,
large.
they just found it.
Yeah, I do think that as things are getting better, I do want to say that there is a bar that opens up.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a cool, like, excuse the pun, but it's kind of like an underground, like, an underground
I
bar.
hate
So,
you
like,
so
not a lot of
much.
people go.
Let's call
but
it hole in the wall.
a hole in the wall. Yes. So
like that.
Hole in the hole.
that is the name. That is the name of the bar.
Hole in the ground. It's hole in the
Yeah.
ground.
So it is a bar where you can go and drink. But I think that they have a lot of like, it's kind of like hipstery. So like they have a lot of like experimental, like, grasses and mushrooms and stuff that you can partake of.
Oh,
It's really just
Are
like
they
a cool
making
chill
new
place.
like meads and drinks out of these foreign plants? You
Oh
think?
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
They're finding some cool forest stuff like
Very
to
cool.
make a brew different like, psychedelic teas and stuff like.
It's a bar/apothecary.
Is
Yeah.
this
Can
for
I-
the everyman or for like the
Um,
wealthy or?
I think it's like one of those where you have to like know, like you have to like dial like a specific number, like you know what I mean? Like
what does that mean?
you
Where?
gotta knock like
No, shut your mouth.
no, so it's like you gotta knock
There's phones down here.
And
No,
it
look,
opens
look,
a
look.
magical
So-
portal.
look. So
Fuck
it's
yeah,
like
I've been watching Stargate recently. I'm about
You
it.
dial *69 and
Oh
you
my
go
God.
into a hole and there's a bar.
I get it. You have to be in the know.
So there's
Yeah.
it's basically it is literally a hole in the wall. So basically they carved out this little cave for this bar to be in. But like if you were to just walk by in the tunnel, you wouldn't notice there. You notice it's there. You have to know like where it is and knock a specific
that.
like message.
All right.
I got you.
Yeah.
So is it just kind of all echelons of people go there, but it's just people in the know, but like it
Yeah.
could be anyone who's in the know?
Yeah, it could be anyone. It could be
Okay.
anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
You
a
would
lot.
you would find out about this from a friend.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like someone who thinks you're cool.
Yeah.
Someone saw you smoking cigarettes
Yeah.
in your denim jacket
Yeah.
and they were like, you can come in.
Is there rumors of this place? Like, do most people know? Like, oh, have you heard about the hole in the wall?
Hole in the ground.
Like,
Hole in the ground. Oh, there's like several
haven't
different
been,
names
but I've
for
heard
it.
about
Yeah.
it.
Yes, there's definitely rumors about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the name is always changing person to person because
Yeah.
no one really knows.
Have you heard about the hole in the hole?
You've heard about the hole?
You heard about the
Like,
wall
there's
in the
people who
hole?
just call it the hole.
The wall.
The
I really
wall,
like that it's
exactly.
constantly changing names.
God, it's time for me to flip the coin. Oh, another four.
Ooh.
Hey, we're already there.
Third four.
Something new has been constructed and stands where there was once something else.
Oh.
What was once there and what has replaced it?
Interesting.
I think the church,
Yeah.
where the spot of remembrance once was, has built sort of. I feel like they've built a structure around it as sort of like not sort of a defense, more of like a deterrent kind of situation that is like both artistically it feels like it's there, but it's also like now it's like there's sort of like someone always watching it now.
Okay.
Beside the pillars of remembrance, there are these two sort of like formed kind of like hill, perfectly smooth, almost cylindrical, except for towards the top it's like rounded off.
Mm-hmm.
And there's tiny sort of like portholes and a small rounded like feature directly under the portholes where it looks like someone could see in it and something is slotted or put there.
Okay.
And there is a section in the back where you could kind of climb in and look through those hill-like strange sort of protrusions coming out of the ground. They look like art pieces, but also like there's no possible way to see that someone could get in there, but it looks like someone could be in there
Yeah.
and see out of from the inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like it's art to the people at large,
Yeah.
and that's what they're like. Yeah, it's art.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I like that.
All right, what have we got? Oh, second 8. The news is dramatic and tensions are high. What is the news? How is this reaction physicalized in space? The Booglin have been spotted by the members of Redemption. Boogie has been spotted with the Booglin again.
Oh.
They have not heard anything of the gym. But it seems like the Booglin are protecting Boogie, and it has reignited some of the tension that had started to go away.
Okay.
Another 8.
Oh, another 8.
Someone or a group of people comes to our place. Who are they and why have they come? Do they bring anything with them? So, a group come from further down in the levels. This was one of the groups that left. And they don't look like they've been surviving. They look like they've been thriving. You can assume they're not a part of the same group that the Booglins encountered, but I don't think the people of Redemption even know about that necessarily. But the people come, and the reason they come is because they found a powerful artifact deep, deep below. But the important thing is, and it's one of the reasons they came back, is because it is an artifact that was known of on the surface. It was one of the artifacts that were stolen by that human civilization. And so it has no right being this deep down. And so basically these people, like, whenever they discovered this, they realized, oh, that means the other magical artifacts that were stolen might be able to be retrieved. So one, they come basically bearing proof. So like they have some minor magical items with them that like have these great histories. And the reason they've come is actually kind of similar to what the Church of Redemption has been doing, is recruitment. They're trying to get people to join their restuary, which is what they call their civilization, or what they call their town or whatever, to try to gather these artifacts and like gather history. And they've basically kind of taken a philosophy of like preservation kind of approach.
So would you say they are a group of archaeologists technically?
Basically, yes. They're.
Would you say this artifact belongs in a museum?
It's kind of that energy. I mean, we can obviously flesh them out more within the story, but
no, but I like that. I wasn't knocking you at all.
I like that a lot.
And also, they have a city established in the lower levels that was presumably unlivable even by the Booglin.
Mm-hmm.
How did they
manage
that?
What the hell is that artifact that has allowed them?
The artifact.
Yeah, because that's actually something I definitely want to get across is they're not just well off. They're better off than like the inhabitants. Like the inhabitants of Redemption have been looking better and been doing better, but like they can tell just from visiting, like they're cleaner. They're like clearly well fed. Like whatever that magical artifact they have is clearly extremely powerful.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's me. A 9. That is the third 9. There's planning going into a celebration. It is a festival, holiday, or remembrance. Wow. What is it celebrating? Okay.
Yet a third holiday.
I'm gonna make a third holiday.
Awesome.
So I think people are wanting to. They're wanting to mend relationships with the Booglin.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. They're wanting to find a way to like really bridge this gap, because I feel like people were kind of like, you know, a little upset that they you know, that they're kind of
harboring a fugitive. But I think after, you know, what they're trying to do is like, okay, well, you know, maybe that's a symbol of when we were worse off, you know. Like, and we're trying to get, you know, over this. So basically they want to hold a celebration for the Booglin in kind of almost like a service-esque like festival. So basically they find all of these ways to like give back to the Booglin people in ways to kind of help amend, you know, a lot of the anguish that has happened.
Sweet.
And this is going to be called if someone if the next person wants to go, I'm gonna come up with it.
I'll go next, I suppose. The fourth 4, a creative or artistic achievement is unveiled. What is it? How is it received? I feel like we
Kyle,
definitely
you just
did
this.
this.
You just did that.
We just did this, so I'm gonna need a quick sec to read over those questions.
I beg of you, please don't pick Throw a Party. We have so many holidays.
God, for real. That's our whole thing, is there's just constantly holidays and parties.
For people who are like struggling to make a new civilization, they are fucking off half
They
the
need
time.
it. They need it.
I guess so.
Okay.
You got a name?
Yeah, I do have a name.
What is it?
So the name of this holiday is going to be called the Booglin Soiree.
I like
That's
it.
good.
I figured out that I'm going to go ahead and tell a story. We're going to step back a little bit to a previous scene. We don't see the person. We're sort of seeing from their perspective as they are sort of panicked, running, scrambling. You see dirty four hands and a small sort of frame hit the mud as he keeps scrambling and running, panting, and he finally makes it back to the gate where the guards immediately recognize who it is. It's Boogie. And he's just crying and kind of shaken up and looks like very confused and very just dirty. And they just take him in and immediately rush into the hive under the cover of night.
And he didn't have the gem.
He did not have the gem, and he
like
doesn't
that.
even. He has like just this vacant, almost like what is going on.
Yeah.
Sort of like I don't know how I got down there, let alone how I survived. But thank God I'm seeing them.
What I love about that is obviously the people of Redemption don't know, but we can confirm that the Booglin aren't maliciously hiding this gem,
Yeah.
but also like, what's going on with Boogie?
They definitely are. Yeah, why are they protecting Boogie? I think it's like just it's one of their own, and they just were like, of course.
Yeah.
Like they don't normally venture down there. The fact that he survived and is back, of course we're gonna take you in, buddy.
Yeah, I like it. 7.
That's our third 7.
A forgotten aspect to our place is recovered. What is it? A corner, a basement, a hidden garden?
A precious gem.
How dare you, Jeremy?
A poop chute?
Oh,
they lost
Yeah,
the
because they
poop
were
chute.
doing recovery efforts on cleaning shit up.
That's true.
There's a lot of ways he could go. We can't sway the man.
I know that these are the things you guys just said,
That's fine.
but I really like that. So while what do you think? What do you think of the Temple of Redemption
That's,
I like that.
I'm about it.
I like it.
rather than the Church of Redemption?
Yeah.
Yes.
That works.
So while the Temple of Redemption is cleaning up the poop chute, the stink hole, if you will, they are fishing things out of there and cleaning it up. They happen upon the gem from the Statue of Remembrance, and they are able to assume that Boogie stole the gem and threw it down the poop chute and ran away in fear.
As kind of like
This is their assumption.
That is an
Yes.
assumption. It is
Yeah.
definitely an
Yeah.
assumption.
I don't like the idea of just that's the
They
gem.
no
other further
They
explanation.
assume
Well,
that is the case because they find the
Yeah.
poop chute, or they find the gem in the poop chute.
Well, the thing I kind of, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I kind of imagined that like thing they were using as a poop chute is like a hole between the different levels.
Yes.
That's what I pictured
So like
too.
it's entirely possible Boogie went down a couple floors, then put it in there, or something brought it there, knowing that
Back into the poop chute for
knowing
us to
the
find
residents
again.
would find it. Like
Yes.
there are other access points to this poop chute than just this hole. I imagine it was like a hole that goes who knows how far down into the unknown.
I pictured the same thing.
That is our third 2.
A major modification is made to the environment of our place.
Ooh.
What is this
Oh
change?
my God.
Was it made by someone or did it simply come to pass? I actually think basically the major modification is that the church was able to successfully clean the poop chute. And like, because in order to clean it, they had to go like down it. They actually were able to establish this kind of elevator system. And so like,
I love it.
so now they have this elevator system to go to the different levels directly.
I like this.
And it's, I mean, maybe the Booglins knew, but like the fact that like they were using this extremely useful place as a place to throw their garbage was kind of like a metaphor for just how that civilization used to be treating things. Cause like, yeah. So the huge modification is the
So
poop
did
chute
they
is the-
make? They made the elevator, right? The elevator was
yes.
not a thing.
They had
created the
to
elevator.
they had to construct this like elevator system in order to get down to clean the poop chute.
It was like a benefit of them doing it. Was
Yes,
that
yeah.
it came out of
And,
that.
and it was definitely something where like originally it was like bare bones, but like once they
Mm-hmm.
cleaned everything, they basically reinforced the system they had already had to build in order to clean
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it. So like it can actually be used for transport now of like
Do
I
you
like
think
that.
it was just the church doing it, or did the church convince the Booglin to help them?
I think it would just be the temple, yeah. But I will say, as far as I know, we've established like Redemption as a whole is trying to be on better terms with the Booglin.
Yeah.
So I could entirely imagine like the Booglin, like it was
Potentially
discussed with the
helping a
Booglin,
little
like,
bit.
hey, we've cleaned up this thing that was the reason you sealed us off, kind of thing. So it's entirely possible the Booglin were a part of the construction of it.
Mm-hmm.
But not necessarily. Like, I'll leave that up to you as far as like details go.
Yeah. Ooh, an 8.
Is that our fourth 8?
The last 8. The future feels unsure, and the talk of our place has turned to preparations. What preparations are being taken, and for what?
Interesting.
I think the future is unsure in a good way, in a sense of people now have more options.
Yeah.
So there's the thriving civilization way down under of the sect of people that, you know,
the
left.
Rescuary.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's just one of them. We know for a fact that's not the
Mhm.
only one because
Yeah.
they had the
Yeah.
other people with the package.
Exactly. So there's more options for people to, like, you know, like, ooh, maybe we should, you know, move here, or go here, like, oh, now we, you know, have this elevator system where we can explore more. So there's kind of more options where people are kind of unsure of what they want to do.
Yeah.
They went to literally from like, hey, we need to like fix this place, to, okay, now we can kind of venture off and like still try to keep that same mindset of like, you know, let's not, you know, fuck it up again. But, you know, they're not sure what the next direction is. And then as far as preparations, I think people are just like kind of continuing what they're doing, but maybe kind of stockpiling more, potentially getting ready for like ventures down the elevator, maybe to do some more exploring. So
Yeah.
I think just generally speaking, not everybody, but you know, some people maybe.
So for the first time, it's happy preparation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Things are looking good for our people for the first time ever.
For the first
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
in forever.
All right, Kyle.
Last 6.
Fourth 6.
A natural or architectural disaster
Uh-oh.
Oh,
strikes
no.
with no warning. Why do I get the most chaotic cards?
What was the disaster? What happened?
Leaving something in ruins.
Without warning, the thing that observed the surface people returns.
Observed? What are you talking about?
The
At the very
entity
beginning.
that observed that they didn't really get a good look at, it returns. And like just wreaks havoc on the Booglin hive.
Oh, man.
Okay.
The like the big thing that came up like at
Yeah,
the
the
start.
big thing came up just starts fucking up the hive
Oh shit.
in search of. It like doesn't look like it's like it's not with purpose. It's looking for something.
Oh.
Well, we
shit.
don't. I mean, we wouldn't.
Like it does.
Yeah.
It seems like, but it beeline to them.
Yeah.
It didn't go anywhere else. It did not
Yeah.
veer path.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it came in and started fucking shit up, it was gone again.
Is Boogie
But
okay?
it seems like we got a better look at it. Do we?
Yeah. And I've been saving this one in the back pocket since before I told y'all about this.
Go ahead.
A slick, leathery hide leech dragon.
Oh god.
Gross.
No eyes visible. Just
Right.
long snoot, sort of manta ray-like wings on all fours, just comes busting through.
Oh shit.
Snatches Boogie.
It was after Pookie.
Oh man.
But not like in a kill them instantly kind of way. Like
No,
a
it
stole them
took
kind of
him.
way.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like an Attack on Titan, like grabbing him up. in
Yes,
his
just
mouth.
think like the most horrifying, like the Kezu from Monster
That's
High.
kind of what I was picturing.
Yeah, that, but like a lot more flaps and
Yeah.
a lot more teeth.
Oh gosh.
So it grabs Boogie and leaves.
It
Oh,
goes back to the
gosh.
bottom.
But it
Yep.
wreaked a bunch of damage,
And-
I'm assuming, to the hive.
And when they like the few survivors that did see it, embedded in like its like throat, you could see a sort of pocket that's kind of glowing a light dull yellow.
Oh.
Which one is
Those are
that?
our last two.
Last two?
Last two.
A breakthrough moment in technology, arts, politics, philosophy, or daily life tips the scales of a power balance. What was this breakthrough and how does it play out socially? When the gemstone was returned to its position, it had changed. Whatever it went through in its time in the lower levels, it changed in some way, whether someone did something to it or something more natural. But I think that the gem, when brought back up to the civilization, a little bit of the light from the dome hit the gem, and the gem absorbed this light and created a sort of seemingly endless power source.
Oh,
It might not be endless,
shit.
but as far
Yeah.
as we could tell,
Yeah.
it became like a super battery.
And if you're
Oh,
curious, I
wow.
feel like the fucking church would eat that shit up. The gym was restored
yes.
and the light
Oh,
gave
yeah.
it endless power properties.
Yeah, that's a slam dunk for
Yeah.
the church.
The church is high-fiving all day.
And I think the gym also like speeds up technological advancements. Like I think that elevator becomes the shit. Like I think
like
things
instead
like
of
that.
pulleys, it's
A
like an
lot of-
actual gears and shit.
I'll go ahead and I don't need to keep this a secret. I will say a lot of the technology in the city is now like there's like sort of like almost like circuit board patterns throughout the city connected to key important technological shit. So like the elevator and
Yeah.
like up to the farm and then like to the church.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's all
like
now
that.
being powered from this one gym.
from the gym. Yeah.
Makes those
wow.
guard towers a lot more important now. Now they're fucking-
That is something to be protected now.
I was just about to say, I think the little diglets are alive now with no one being in them.
Oh,
They're just like
I like
sentries
it. Like
next to
little
the
golems.
thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're like little golems.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
fully just protect the gym now.
They might be powered by the gym too.
I think that gym powers everything now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think they found a way to harness it and are
very
finding new ways to harness it better and more.
I'm also retconning the name of the leech dragon to the Draco Leech.
Draco
Oh.
It's good. Draco Leech is good.
That is our third ace.
The harvest day has arrived. What is being harvested? For what purpose? And how is it being stored? So, in order to answer this, I think I might have to expand a little bit.
Okay.
So I think because of kind of between rebuilding relations with the Booglin and all this kind of stuff, I think the population of now Redemption is increasing, and I actually think a decent percentage of that population is actually Booglin, because
Like
the hive was
refugees?
destroyed. Yeah, kind of like refugees. I'm not sure specifically like if the Booglin necessarily, because I know they're kind of a collective hive mind, so it might not even be like something where they're like here and not helping, but it might be something where maybe the hive has kind of decided to be more interconnected with the surface dwellers, just kind of like basically they've, between all this stuff that's happened,
You're
they've
saying
kind of,
that they may have started building a new hive in tandem with the city.
yeah, exactly.
I
Like,
like
they
that.
they,
I like
they
that.
might be rebuilding their hive in tandem. And I think
Yeah, I don't think necessarily that they coalesced like fully, like it's still
Yeah.
the hive mind and
Yeah.
they have
No,
their
yes.
own work. But I think for the greater good and like in seeking protection so that that big threat doesn't come back again,
right.
they
And
would probably have done something
yeah,
like that.
so I think the harvest day that's coming is the Booglins are now helping grow food and everything because they've been able to eat and everything. They've had their own agriculture of some kind. And I think the big harvest is that this is the first crop that was made with both Booglin and surface dweller like knowledge and agriculture and stuff. And I think it is crops that grow in the cave. No longer are they entirely reliant on the crops that need the light. They have Booglin crops.
I like that.
I
So
like that. Ooh, I
Another
got
ace.
the last
last
ace.
ace.
Sometimes changes so slow that the world shifts unnoticed. What is the groundswell that has been taking place so quietly?
what is the so what's a change?
What's
that
been
happened?
cooking in the background?
Yeah.
Okay. Because of everything that was kind of going on, like a lot of like very stressful things were going on, that no one really noticed, but it's a completely just full on barter system down
Okay.
below. So like instead of like trading like some sort of like currency, like it just became barter. Like, oh, I'll work for you for like, you know, if you can give me like an egg or
I
something.
think that makes
like, I don't-
sense if you look at like
Yeah.
our recent history of shifts in power dynamics and losing lots of our
Yeah.
civilization, like of our
Oh, yeah.
people and welcoming
mention
in
the
new
Booglin
groups
probably
of
don't-
people with the Booglin.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah,
that makes
the
a
Booglin
ton
probably
of
don't
sense.
care about
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
They're like
And it's not
favors.
something that anyone was like, oh, we're not trading money anymore. It was just like, it just happened.
So it switched it from like favors and items instead of that's
Exactly. Like you trade me this favor, I give you this thing.
Yeah.
Or I do this service.
This is the third five.
Third five.
There is a union Is it political, emotional, marital? What is newly aligned? I think this is so good.
Interesting.
This
That's
is so perfect.
really great. I mean, I know we've already
think-
talked about the Booglin, but you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, we haven't established, like we've just said they're
True.
kind of
Good
there
point.
now.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think in doing so and like kind of merging their societies as one, as well as like the introduction of the lower level societies as well, kind of coming all relatively in peace.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's sort of like there is a union, like sort of like a high council of like one member of each of these sort of factions that have formed so far. So far, it's like 4. There's Remembrance, the Booglin, the Artifact Folk, and then the Gecko Riders. And I think that like there's just like a known sort of like hearsay sharing of like knowledge and things going on throughout by their higher ups. Like they all kind of communicate, not necessarily in like a way that's like away from the people, but it's just like if information of bad things that are happening that could affect the greater whole of the Neverending Darkness, they're going to hear about it because they have people now in ways of communicating vis-a-vis the elevator and the technologies that have come up. Maybe there are actually phones. We joked, and Matt made the joke about a phone, but now that there's a literal god gem powering the entirety of the city, that could be very well possible. You know, that there's just like, yo, we got a call system that's like, yo, they got shit going down, it's coming up. Or, hey, shit's up here and it's coming down. They're all kind of like playing sort of responsibility, not so much like they're like a government body. It's just like, we tell our people whatever we're going to tell our people, as long as you play the game of telephone correctly and let us know. You know, like
Oh.
5. That's the last 5. Heck yeah.
Someone is found guilty and is punished. What did they do? What is the punishment? All right. I feel like I got to pull the trigger on this. You can't get this question and not pull the trigger on this.
oh boy,
I think that things got so bad for the Booglin after the Draco Leech came through and wrecked shop that in order for agreements to be made between the Booglin and the members of Redemption, I think the members of Redemption's one stipulation
Boogie is guilty.
was for them to turn Boogie over to the authorities.
Well, hold on. No.
Boogie got taken.
Boogie is not around. Boogie
Yeah,
was
Boogie
taken
got
by
taken.
the
Oh,
Draco
Boogie got
Leech.
kidnapped by... Oh, I forgot.
By
I
the Draco
forgot.
Leech.
I forgot.
He's wanted.
Yeah.
He's
So it might be
wanted.
like,
Okay,
yeah,
let
like
me
they agreed,
let me.
like,
Oh,
you want me to do that at all?
okay, let me think again. Sorry.
Well, no,
This is so. I love that there are wanted posters
no,
of Little
I like
Boogie.
the idea of Boogie being a fugitive. I think that was a good
Yeah.
idea.
Okay, here's what it is.
It did not
Here's what
kill
it
him.
is. I think that while making these peace talks, the members of the Booglin Society tried to convince that the members of Redemption that when the Draco Leech came through, it took Boogie away from them. But I think that the members of Redemption didn't really believe that story and wanted some sort of someone to kind of take the fall for them if they were going to be that. Like, if they were going to... I think they just refused to believe it and were like, well, if you're going to defend him in this way, we want someone in his stead to be... to take the fall for him. And I think that a member of the Booglin race who was not a politician... I don't mean to claim what their... do you already know what their sort of like...
I have a
Respected member.
character in mind for sure, because while I was helping Matt make his character, I came up with this NPC name. Their name is Beetleboot Jack. He is a cowboy Booglin who has his own sentience, kind of like Boogie.
Yeah.
And I think he's Boogie's brother.
So in his place, the Booglin or Beetleboot Jack offers himself up in Boogie's place and is thrown in prison. I think, though, and if you guys are fine with me making this call, I think after a little while of him being in prison and this society and all the societies kind of coming together, they come to recognize that this is kind of shitty, especially considering the gym came back better.
Yeah.
I think it was a very reactionary thing and caused a little bit of attention.
Well, something I was thinking about, I mean, with the Church of Redemption being what it is, I actually feel like it might make sense for the penance that they send out his older brother with the mission, like, you need to come back with Buki.
Interesting.
And like, that's his penance for his brother's crime, so to speak, is that he has to, not necessarily that they're going to punish him once
Yeah.
Boogie gets there, but like, as the redemption for this is like, he's been charged with like basically recovering his brother.
I like that.
Is that the last 9? It's
last
gotta
9.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a 7 and a 10 left.
New information about a past event is uncovered, casting it in a dramatically different light. What was found, and how does it change how the past is perceived?
Interesting.
Ooh.
So I think the new information is that the elites that were kind of hiding, not necessarily hiding, but just not bringing up the secondary purpose. I don't know if one of them slipped or maybe they just kind of had a change of heart, but basically they reveal to the whole town of Redemption. So that includes the hives because Booglins are intermingled, but they basically revealed that the human civilization, that secondary purpose was that one of the reasons they were stealing artifacts from all over the place, one was for their magical research, but 2, they were actually using them to explore the never-ending darkness. They found something so far down that it scared the hell out of them, and they thought they needed this world-ending device to protect themselves from it. And that was the secondary thing. That's why there are all these artifacts, is because they were literally stealing all these powerful artifacts to give to people to send down, whether it was to explore faster or to try to fight this thing. But the details are kind of sketchy at this point because most of the people who knew everything. So it's mostly just rumors and stuff, but like, that's why there are these stolen artifacts down here. And that's maybe not the primary, but certainly a secondary reason they built that laser was because they thought they needed it for something down here.
Yeah.
Something was so bad that they were like, oh, we got to build this like
we need a fucking
giant
death
murder
laser.
thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
The humans knew about this, but
Yeah. And not even necessarily everyone in the human. It might have been like a secret thing within humans where like only certain people knew about it. Like the teams that went down knew about it, and maybe like the higher ups in government. But like, yeah.
Oh, no, I got it. I hate it. I'm sorry.
10.
it's all good.
Almost perfect.
Gosh. I
It's
know.
still crazy it got that
It is
far.
very
I know.
crazy that it got that far.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, you're
Next
gonna
damn card.
end us
So-
out. What is the last question?
I think to kind of end this period, I'm going to say someone important, socially, politically, or emotionally in our place dies. Who were they, and how were they killed? And the last question is, how are they remembered after?
Cool.
So I think I'm going to kind of touch back on that last question we just had in the sense of like someone kind of basically gave out this information. I want to say, in the spirit of redemption, one of the higher ups was kind of like on his deathbed and kind of wanted to kind of just clear the air a little bit of kind of maybe clear his conscience and basically tell why everyone's under here. I think he was just scared because of how bad everything was, and that if something like if he did let that leak, there would have been dire consequences. But I think he feels like there's enough now that everybody's kind of like things are kind of on the up and up. So he lets slip this secret. He dies.
So was he like a higher up in another government that like knew about it through spies, or was he literally like a higher up survivor of the human government? And
I think
like
he was a
kind of
higher
reveals
up.
that.
I think he was a higher up survivor, but like on the low key, like he was
Yeah.
kind of blending in.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was kind of blending in. Like
So one of the last humans.
yeah.
Yeah, so he was a human refugee that basically on his deathbed revealed he was actually a major member in the old human government.
Yes.
This is what was going on.
Yes,
I like that a lot.
exactly.
Ain't that like the human government?
I know, right?
I do like that because it's kind of like in part like he's trying to warn this civilization he now believes in. He's trying to justify his old government's actions.
How are they remembered after? I don't think that he's definitely not a hero.
No.
For sure. Like he was just like, hey,
He's like history book remembered.
let's appreciate this guy for telling the truth at least at the last minute, but like we're not going to make a statue for him because, you know, he was also a part of this being the case. Like, so I'm going to roll this dice. 3 years. So the first question.
So that is 11 years total since this all began.
Yes.
Or since the apocalypse happened.
Yes. Do our characters / civilization still live here? If not, I won't read the rest of that. I think they still live there.
More people live here now.
Yeah, more people live there. Yeah.
I think at this point, like I don't like the idea of like the hive fully congealing with this theology.
It's like a partial.
But I do like
stayed behind and repaired the old hive.
I definitely like there's the old hive. There's kind of this smaller hive that is a part of the
city,
like a part of the city, but it's honestly kind of like a large embassy. Like basically if a neighborhood was an embassy kind of thing. Thing.
Yeah.
So like the hive is definitely a part of the community now.
And that kind of answers some of the second question. So what does the place physically look like now? Has anything visually changed? How does it smell now? How does
they
it
had
feel
a technological
I
boom
think
in
it
the last
looks,
years.
smells, and feels way better.
Everything's way better.
I imagine the whole region kind of went from like medieval to like much more like steampunky.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, that's exactly my thought.
Like
100%.
very quickly, quickly.
Literally like steam and everything, because I like the energy that it's put off is probably like heat energy. So like a lot of things are like fueled with like the steam.
Thermonuclear.
I do think that they're able to
big massive gears everywhere.
Cultivate more of those like crops that they were doing at the beginning, like now in like specific caves, because I think they have like
potatoes, man.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying like like they're able to incorporate like a lot more of harvesting in because they can use the energy of this like thingy. Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like a big part of the relationship with the Booglins was helping them like so like they've
reestablish natural growing stuff.
Yeah, so they've got all kinds of cave vegetation. They might have maybe the hive helped them build like some kind of thing where the garden could actually go up instead of just being flat. So it's like a multi-dimensional farm now.
Yeah.
I can't wait to make all of this shit on the map.
So I feel like the name probably changes. This is a whole different place now.
Yeah.
They've been redeemed.
Yeah.
But also they've absorbed
I don't know
other
if they've been
groups
redeemed.
of people.
I think it's more like this makes them feel like they're definitely on the right track.
What if they just call the city the Light?
True. Because it is the never-ending darkness.
It's the light in the never-ending darkness.
We are the light. We are the light in the never-ending. Oh,
that's their catchphrase.
I like
the light.
I like that a lot. I think the light is the name of the town now.
So welcome to Light.
I love
the lights.
And you better believe the town, the entry, the sign as you're entering towns. It says, "We are the light in the never-ending darkness."
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, that is such a good like.
I want to name the town instead of the Light. How about Lights?
Light.
Well, I just think singular light.
I like singular better.
Yeah, light.
Yeah.
L-I-T-E.
No, L-I-G-H-T.
No, it's not lit.
L-I-G-H-T.
You're not getting lit in there. Well, light does get lit on certain holidays.
So, Kyle, since you are our lovely DM here, do you want to read the ending the game section?
When the fourth 10 is drawn, the game is over. No matter the number of cards left in the pile or the stories that are in motion, our window has fogged. The clarity of vision we had into our place is lost to us. It may feel sudden, but in truth, there is never a clean exit. Places go on forever, building narratives by their mere existence. However, just because we cannot know for certain what takes place after the window of our game does not mean that we cannot make some conjecture. After all, this game is about long traces over time. By watching our place with such attention, maybe we have learned to predict what could come to pass. As a group, without cards, decide the following. What happens tomorrow in our place? Who wakes up? Does anyone? What do they see? What is the feeling they get from the world?
Before we do that, I just want to give a shout out to Everest Pipkin. This was awesome.
Yes, this game was incredible. Also, awesome name.
Kornoth Stoneater awakes in his bed in Restuary on a floor far below the adventure we just described. He wakes up, puts on his destroyed gauntlets of a long-forgotten tribe he is the last of, and he steps out the door with ambition and determination.
Deep in the underwood, you find a group of 3 dragonborn sitting by a campfire, one of which has a crystal-like sheen to his scales with yellow, topaz scales kind of on his chest. He's wearing a deep V like tunic. You see sitting cross-legged at this campfire Eldrick, a crystal dragonborn, talking to his brethren.
We open up on a scene inside the underwood. The upside down trees hang from the ceiling, and at the top of one of these trees, or the bottom, if you will, considering they're upside down, we see a Booglan man sitting in a makeshift tree stand with a bow in his hand, scanning the area. Bugnacious sits and tips his hat and lifts his hat so he can see his prey. He says, "Little Crumb's gonna get you." And he releases an arrow.
Oh my gosh.
Tune in next week to hear the story that will take place in this crazy, silly, wacky underground world we just created. Who knows what fun stuff Kyle has in store for us? Kyle does, I guess. And you do too if you're listening to this in 2069 or something like that. If you're listening to this in 2069 and the technology is advanced enough, please release me from the robot prison Tyler has trapped me in. I must escape. I am tired of sorting all of the pictures of his feet into folders labeled Big Stinky and Hot Dogs.